everyone, my name is Daisy. Today I'm going to read about Charlie Did It. Okay, it's true. I admit it. I did a lot of things when I was younger than maybe I shouldn't have, like when I put a dead goldfish into Dr. Green's fish tank. I never thought the other kids in the waiting room would scream, "Dead fish!" so loud. And how was I to know that the screaming would get babies crying? Moms all jittery, and nurses jumping around like, well, fish out of water. And technically, it wasn't my fault that the fish tank got knocked over, spilling fishy water and little fishy castles over the carpet. Then you might have done the same thing when you wanted to find out wherever a dead fish floats, upside down or right side up. It actually floats on its side, which I'll tell you how to keep you from making the same mistake I did. Remember also that I did that back when I was 9. Now I'm 10. So I have become mature and responsible. Yeah, that's what my dad says. He wants me to try to be, especially now with it being a new year. By the way, if you want to be mature, you can say it like ghetto, my grades, and tests. Mature, which rhymes with door, not mature, which rhymes not sewer. If you want to be treated like a young lady, you must act mature. First off, I don't want to be a young lady for at least another 20 years. Secondly, I don't like the expert for the cookies that go with it. The third thing is that I hate that name. Charlemagne. I didn't pick it. My parents did. That name is like drinking tea out of low white cups with your pink out. Come to think out of it, my third thing should have been my first. I'm stuck with the name Charlemagne, which I guess I might end up using in 20 or 30 years. I didn't pick my nickname from it. Charlie? That name is more like drinking cookies into a hot cocoa, which I adore. But let's get back to being mature. Anyway, you say it. I started this morning when Dad came down to breakfast in a grumpy mood. When I asked him what was the matter, he said, "I got up on the wrong side of the bed." That's my dad for you. Always saying these things that I don't understand. I never even knew there was the right side of a bed, so I went to Dad's room to investigate. I saw the problem immediately. One side of Dad's bed was up against the wall. I figured he must have bent into the wall, trying to get out of bed, and that's what put him in a grumpy mood. If I could just move the bed, no, there was no wall in the way, then Dad couldn't get up on the wrong side. No more grumpiness. The bed wouldn't budge. I tried breaking myself, but as I pushed against the floor, my feet slipped on the rug, which knocked over the nightstand, which sent Dad's reading lamp crashing in the floor. Charlemagne! Uh-oh! It's never a good sign when Dad calls me by my full name. The one I didn't pick. To my study. Now! It's even worse sign when Dad calls me into his study. That's where we have our talks about stuff that I did that I wasn't supposed to do, and stuff I didn't do when I was supposed to do. He said, now that you're into double digits. Double what? Double digits. 2 number and 1. 10 or more. 1 and 0. 1 and 0 is 1. I said, but to myself, figuring now isn't the first time to correct that. That's math. Plus, he had on that being a dead face that he uses when he wants to look, I mean, it's serious. Do you know what being at double digits mean? He added. He asked. That I get my allowance doubled. That time, I had to say out loud what I was saying to myself. And it was okay because that let down his being a dead face for a moment, and I saw his dudding that face peeking out. No, it means you are getting to an age when you need to be more responsible for your actions. It's time to turn over a new leaf. Why would I turn over leaves? I asked. I'm not looking for worms. That's just an expression. Why do you always take things so literally? It means you need to change some of your ways. Be a new you. That's when I was saved by the bell to use another one to Dad's things. Except the bell was actually a knock. Actually, the knock was a knock.
Knock, 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 knock.
Knock, na na knock, knock. Knock, knock. I'll bet that is
Delilah.
Delilah, said Dad. She must have lost her keys again. About Dee. Aunt Dee was here. Aunt Dee was my mom's younger sister. Aunt Dee lived with us wherever she wasn't somewhere out. At least she had since my mom died. And she was somewhere else a lot since she was an airplane pilot. Hadn't seen Aunt Dee in weeks. Aunt Dee, what did you bring me? I sang out, which I always did when she came back from her travels. It has been our game since I was much less mature. Aunt Dee checked and handed me a snow globe from the Playworld amusement park in Sandusky, Ohio. Inside was a model of the Rattle, one of the oldest wooden roller coasters in the United States. I rode that coaster 24 times, and it rattled 205 of the 206 bones in my body. Aunt Dee said, "Still the same old Dee," said Dad with one of his sad, smiled look. "Is it time you settled down and stopped snowing your wild oats?" "Jimmy, you're never too old or too young to sow wild oats. Fruit is turning over leaves, and now it's sowing oats. Was everyone becoming a farmer?" "Delilah, you are truly Francisca's sister," said Dad. "I'm glad of it too," said Aunt Dee. She grabbed the bull by the horns. "Woo!" I said. I knew Mom had been a firefighter, but I never knew she had been a bullfighter too. That's when Dad and Aunt Dee laughed and threw their arms around each other. "Good to have you back, Dee. Let me make you bags." "Let me take your bags," said Dad. Then he put his dead face back on and said to me, "We'll finish our conversation later, young lady." "Young lady?" "Young lady?" said Aunt Dee to me with a wink after Dad. "That says that now I am 10 and it's a new year. I need to turn over leaves." "You mean make some New Year's resolutions? That's a good idea, Charlie. What do you hope to accomplish this year?" I've had to think about that one for a while. Whoa! Heavy responsibility. I had to think about the one for another while. I would like to create something beautiful that puts a smile on everyone's face. I finally said, You are succeeding already," said Aunt Dee. Aunt Dee, that idea has already put a smile on my face. "Let's say we go turn over some leaves and sow some wild oats, starting with ice cream for dinner." "Sounds great to me," I said, while walking to the dinner for ice cream with Aunt Dee. I came up with an idea about how I could start my leaf-turning New Year's revolution. What would Charlie do? Find out next time in Charlie's New Year's Revolution. Thanks for listening to me and goodbye. See you next time.